Welcome to another fun episode of Photoshop Party. It is August the 31st. Tomorrow is September already. Holy cow. Can't believe it. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of filters, a couple of plugins, and even other stuff if you want. So I'm easy. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Let me hit the share screen. And we'll go to...
Oops, sorry.
Meeting time.
And all y'all can see my screen now.
Y'all can see it.
Let me get things out of the way while I'm working here. Okay. West Coast School, 0 to 60 in a week. Here's a good class for you, Cindy, if you want to take a class on Photoshop. We're going to start at the beginnings and work through some advanced stuff, shortcuts and all kinds of tools. Learn to make your own actions, brushes, and we're going to have fun too. So that's the important thing. Everybody will be working on the same images at the same time so that we can make sure you all get what you need to get while we're playing. So here you go, and we're going to have fun. Okay, we'll close that puppy out. And goodbye. And I'm going to work on my first image here. This is a juvenile baldrus eagle or something to that effect out of South Africa. And if you look really close, it's not totally perfectly sharp when you zoom in that far. And you can also see a little bit of noise in the image. I've cropped it down so things will happen a lot faster for us. And what I'll do on a couple of these images, I'm going to show you the difference between Topaz Sharpen AI, Topaz Denoise AI, and then also work with Nick Define and Nick Sharpener to show you the difference between the two. And you decide for yourself if you like it. We could also go into Sharpen. So we'll do Sharpen first. So we'll do unsharp mask and click OK. And it didn't really sharpen a whole lot. So let me jump back out of that. We'll go to noise and reduce noise. And you can see this is pretty much the default setting. Click OK, give it a second, and there's still a whole lot of noise up there. This was not super noisy, but a little bit of noise. I shot this at 1000 ISO, so it's not too bad. So let's go to Filter, Topaz Denoise AI. And the reason I cropped it down is it takes a little while to run Topaz, but for me, it's well worth it. And sometimes you have to unclick or click the auto button so it will pick out which one to use. We'll move it up so you can see. That's where it's going to preview. Come on, you can do this. And I have it set on my screen so you can see the before and after. The left side is before with all kinds of noise. The right side is the after. And you can see with the preview that it's going to work very well. And it looks like about 1.5 minutes to do it. So in the meantime, we'll go ahead and talk about other stuff. There are other denoise type applications available. You have one in Nick. You have the one in Photoshop, which I showed a second ago, which really didn't take out a whole lot of noise. And then you have the Topaz AI. And sometimes if you go through and pick one over the other, try the other one as well if you're not satisfied with the results, because what you'll see is some do better than others in certain circumstances. Okay, we got about 10 seconds left. And you can see before and after. Can you guys see the noise there?
Yes.
And then after, how it disappears?
Yeah, that does wonderfully.
It does wonderfully. One of the things to remember when you open your files in RAW is to have it. Let me go to RAW so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Go to Optics, click on Remove Chromatic Aberrations. So, and what that does, it makes sure that the line along the edge of whatever you're working with is not severe. And I'm not sure if I did it on this image or not, but anyway. So let's take this one and I'm going to make a copy of the layer. So I'll put them side by sides. So we'll go to Image, Duplicate, and we'll call it Copy. And that has the noise in it. So I will go back to my other image that had that. And I'll put them up side by side, I hope, if I do this right. Go to Arrange, Tile 2 up, Vertical, and it has both of those. So on my left image, I redid the filter. On my right image, let me bring that up and highlight it. We're going to go to Define 2, which takes a couple seconds to run. And with Nick, you can also do the side-by-side view, which I have going on right now, which shows before and after. It's analyzing, and it does a pretty decent job. Let me move this. No, we want up here. There we go. Click OK. It runs a little bit faster than Topaz, but on this image, you can see it still left a lot of noise. It did take a lot out, but it left a lot in.
Hey, Mike, on the Chromatic, could you go into Camera Raw once you are already in Photoshop and do that?
Well,
And
if I
take
go
out
to
that.
Filter, Camera Raw, and there is no optic there. Oh, there it is. You have distortion and vignette and optics.
What about
That's
under
it.
Defringing? Down, yeah, right there. What about that?
If you can tell what color, because this one had a little bit of
Purple, right?
purple.
Yeah.
So the purple amount's at 0. Yeah, it's not taking it out. Let me
Okay.
sample this.
Well, what if you move it? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's still got a little bit there.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious.
Me too. Thank you for asking. So no, you can't do that. Save changes, no. Cancel changes, yes. Goodbye. So that is.
So you do the defringing before you do the denoising, or?
Yeah, when you bring it in Camera Raw, when you bring it in through RAW, hit the optics button and go down to the first one is Defringe, or it's, I'll show you real quick again. On the right-hand side, you have optics. That says profile, remove chromatic aberration. And what that does, it kind of defringes for you. So you don't have to worry about it. Sometimes it won't get all the way there, but for the most part, it does.
Okay, and then go into denoise and.
And then bring it into Photoshop and then go into denoise.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Lightroom has that too.
Yes, both of them do. Basically, anything that's in Camera Raw will be in Lightroom and vice versa. So this is on the right side is my Nick side. So I'm going to run Sharpen Pro 3, the raw pre-sharpener. And we'll do a split view for that as well. You can see it's a little soft on the left side and shows up a little bit better there. So we'll click OK. And before, after, it is a little bit sharp. And then we'll go over to this side. We'll run filter, Topaz Labs, Sharpen AI.
On the Nick, I think it was Nick. What's the difference between the output? Wait, what was it? The output
You
and
have output and raw
raw.
sharpener. I
So-
do not know.
I mean, it seems like the raw you would do first and then you do it again at the end, at the output.
I tried in the past. I haven't tried it with the latest version of Nick. But when I tried to run the output, my computer would freeze up every time.
Oh,
So I don't know if it was me, something I was doing, or I could just be a moron. I don't know. So I don't know the answer to that one. I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Okay. This is
Wow.
the sharper version using Topaz.
Boy, it's a huge difference.
And this is Sharpen Pro 3. It did a little sharpening on there, but not a whole lot. And if
Not
you go
like
to,
Topaz.
and
Wow.
we'll go to Topaz. So you can see it catches the edges really well. Sometimes you got to be careful not to over sharpen. In this particular case, I think we're okay there.
Yeah. Wow. Boy, again, Topaz really kicks Nick there.
So that's that one. Let's try Sharpener Pro 3 output sharpener.
The output's for print, right?
I believe so. And you can see that, there we go.
Who makes that Sharpener Pro 3?
This is
Is that-
Nick or
That's Nick. Okay.
OXD or whatever they are today.
EXO.
Thank you. Those guys.
Dyslexic.
So that's running the Sharpener Pro output. And it did sharpen it a little bit more. So let me redo it.
Michael, is this the one that you put the viewing distance in also?
I don't know. Let's find out. I just run it on their output sharpening. And it asks how you want to do it.
Okay.
Inkjet, continuous tone, halftone, hybrid. I'm going to put it on display. And I'm going to leave it at just their preset settings. So
Okay.
that's without running it the first time, the other way around. But there is a bit of a difference there. I think Topaz wins this round, but it's still sharp enough.
Which Topaz is that?
That is Topaz Sharpen AI. And that was after, with Topaz, we also did Denoise first and then Sharpen AI. So we'll go in here. That's before. That's with Denoise, and that's with Sharpen. In fact, that Sharpen might be a little too much. So when you run the sharpen, you can go up to edit. And because I've been playing with it, you can't do it, but you can do fade, which you can fade it back a little bit so it's not too sharp.
Or could you cut back the opacity on the layer?
You could, if it was on its own layer, which is not. In fact, let's go ahead and do this. Go back in history, go back, run the filter one more time, Sharpen AI. And I'm glad you guys are asking all these questions. It makes it so much easier to play. I'm not just talking to myself. I like that.
Well, could you could you just make a stamp layer of your thing and then run it on that and then put a mask or change the opacity?
Yeah, you can do a stamp layer, or you can just, yeah, that'd be the easiest thing to, or Command J to make a copy of the layer below. Once this runs,
Will Sharpen AI put it on its own layer like Extract and some of those do?
I don't know if it will or not. I haven't seen a way to do that. So if I go right now, before I touch anything, I go to Edit, Fade Topaz Sharpen. And you can take it down or bring it back all the way up, however you want it.
Well, actually, that's a nice feature.
That's a great feature. Most filters, when you run a filter, if you don't do anything, you're okay. So if I hit that at 49%, and then I go to play in the history panel for a little bit, come back over here, go to edit, the fade is now gone. So I can't do anything to fix it after that.
You have to do it right after you do it.
You have to do immediately after, otherwise it's toast.
Wow.
That's with any filter, by the way. So let's go ahead and close out my bird. That guy was fun to photograph.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What is it you have to do right away with the filter or you lose it?
I'll do it one more time after we do this one.
Okay,
You go to edit and then to fade, which is the fourth thing down. So this is the state capital in Boise, Idaho. And what I'll do is do the same thing. We'll make a copy. So we'll go image, duplicate. We'll call it a copy. Okay. And then we'll go to window, arrange, two up, vertical. So we'll put them side by side, and that's not the one I want. So we can fix that. Arrange, consolidate all the tabs. And I'm working, there we go. Part of the zoom thing is covering up some of my layer on top that I can't see. So hopefully this works this time. Window, arrange, two up vertical, did it again. Okay, Command W, don't save. You're kidding me, right? You're gonna play with me like that.
Oh, that's a lot of
Only
noise.
when you're doing stuff that you want to show off all these tricks and tips and okay. Let's see if I can do this now.
Do they have to be right next to each other, Mike, in order to do that?
No, I did it earlier without it being next to each other,
Oh, okay.
but they don't want to do that. So okay, pull this one down. And we'll pull this one down. And we're going to zoom way in anyway, so it don't matter. And And those are both zoomed in at 66.7%. So they're equal. On the left, we're going to do, I don't think we even need to do denoise because it looks fairly good. Do them both at 100%. There we go. So we'll just do sharpen. And Topaz Sharpen. And it takes a little bit to run. That's the drawback with Sharpen and Denoise. It takes a while to load and it takes a while to run them. But the results are not bad.
Uh,
And we'll click OK.
That must be a heck of a lens you've got there, Michael.
That was shot on my 150 to 600
Oh,
before I sold it. I need to go do it again with my 200 to 500. I love that lens. It is sharp.
yeah, for you guys that aren't familiar with Boise, that's at least a mile away, wouldn't you say?
Pretty close to a mile, I think. It's shooting from the railroad station
Mm-hmm.
and down Capitol Boulevard. I think that's Capitol Boulevard.
Yeah.
I'm still learning my way around. And as you guys can tell, Alan's from the Boise area as well. So, and 40 seconds to go. Na, 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 na.
Do you have several affiliates or just one state affiliate?
One state affiliate. There are some camera clubs available. There's a Boise Camera Club and a couple others around, but only one state affiliate, which when Larry gets up here, we've been talking about maybe starting an affiliate so we have like monthly meetings to continue. Because I miss the monthly meetings of getting together with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great, Michael.
So when Larry gets up here, we'll work on doing that, figure out a way to make it work.
Is he moving to Boise too?
I didn't say that, but yes, he is.
Well, I think
Probably.
he mentioned he was moving to Idaho. I just didn't know where.
Yeah, it's the Boise area. They made an offer on a house and looks like they got it. So life is good.
Better be close to you or
15 minutes.
Whoa,
close.
closer
What?
than before.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, let's go
Wow.
ahead. So you can see the flag. And edit. And we're talking about edit to fade. So you go down from edit to fade Topaz Sharpen AI, and it opens up the fade dialog box. And you can go back and forth to how much. So this is before. You can see the flags kind of blowing in the wind. And that's 100% and a lot sharper.
Yeah.
So I'm going to click on, leave it like that. We'll go over to the one on the right and we'll do Sharpen Pro Raw. And click OK. Now this one, if you go to edit fade, it doesn't have it because what it does a stamp visible, name change, layer mask, runs a sharpener, fills, does apply layer mask and name change to basically from adding a new layer to it. So
Yeah, that's the thing with Nick. Nick puts all their filters on its own layer.
yeah, so that's the benefit of doing that. So you can do the fade. That's at 200, that's at 300. So let's make them equal. That's at 300 also. So let's go back to 2. These are both at 200. Whoops. you put them side by side, you can see that the Nick Sharpen almost over sharpened the columns and the flag, where Topaz is a little bit different.
Seems like the Nick one also added some noise to it.
It does appear that it did. Well, let's zoom in.
Because if you look at the window to the right of the flag, it looks like there's noise now.
There is. So you would have to run a denoise program. Okay, let's go ahead and go to define noise reduction. Wait for it to analyze and then run the software to fix it. Whereas it didn't look like it did it for Topaz. And come on. You're supposed to be faster than this.
Seems like at the end of the day, the Topaz side is just cleaner all the way around and less work to do.
Yeah, that would be my opinion as well.
Yeah, interesting.
So let's close out the Nick side. Command W or Control W, D for don't save, and it's gone.
But your pocketbook isn't happy.
Well, it depends. I'm happy with it though. So what I'll do is I will go to filter, camera raw filter. This is one thing that Nick really excels in, is what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to take my radial filter and camera raw, draw around the capital, make sure that it's set to inverse. I got a fairly large feather, let's say about 50. Then I'm going to drop the exposure on the area that I want. Click OK. As I click OK, come on, thank you. And we'll go to history, before and after. So what I did was a really nasty vignette, but it's soft because it's feathered really hard. But if you go to Nick, darken, light, and center, and wait, and wait, and wait, and wait, and wait. Could be because this is a full-size image, so. And with Nick, you have your choice of a square shape on the upper right side. I don't know if you can see where my cursor is on the upper right side.
Mhm.
You can go from square to an oval. And you can click between the two to see which one you like better. I like the square better. You can do your center luminosity, make it brighter, make it darker. I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Border luminosity you can drop or make brighter so it's not so noticeable. And you can change the size of the center. And you can also place where you want the center to be. So if I wanted the vignette to be around the building that's on the left, this orange building, I click over there and that's my center. So everything else would vignette around it. Or click on place center again and go back to the center. And then click OK. And it goes fairly fast. Mel, can you check to see if there's anything in the chat?
There is. I've put stuff in there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I've put in the link to Topaz, the link to DxO for Nick, and then also a discount code that is still currently working for the Topaz products.
Yay! We like discounts. This is before and after using the nick.
I have a question on that center, placing the center. Can you
Uh-huh.
define, like you've done on the earlier one, you could define how that you wanted that oval to look. And I know in the nick one, you could do a square or an oval, but it would be, what if you wanted that oval to run up and down instead of horizontally?
In nick, I don't know that you can change the direction of it. It's not that I'm aware of. We'll take a look
Yeah, I
at it
didn't
real
see
quick.
anything for that.
Yeah, I don't think there is. That's where you do it in Camera Raw. You would add a little bit of brightness to the center point, then rerun Camera Raw again, and then darken the outside areas. So there is no way to fix vertical or horizontal.
Yeah, that seems like a big oversight on their part. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything there. So sorry about that. I didn't design it. But if somebody were to write them a letter and say, hey, can you fix that for us?
Yeah,
What you might have to do is run it twice and put in a second filter with it, down below a little bit lower than what you had.
And you can also mask it. So I go into brush and make my brush a little bit bigger.
You're in
So that can-
screen mode.
And I'm at 100% now. And so I can take out the vignetting that was down below. So you can see there's a slight difference. It's not super harsh, but it's enough to where you can see a little bit of a difference. And to turn your mask on and off, hold the shift key down, click on the mask, and it turns it off. You see the red X in the layer. And to turn it back on, hold the shift key down and click on it. And if you want to select what you have painted in, hold the control or command key down and it makes a selection for you. To deselect, just hit command or control D. Questions, answers? Going once, going twice.
So there's a whole bunch of topazes you can buy since they separate them. Unless you buy
Yes.
a full group. So are you saying that the Sharpen AI one is perhaps the most beneficial if you have to only get one?
If I could only afford one, I would probably, that's a hard
Ooh.
decision.
Because the GXO comes with so many other items.
But if you had to pick one of the Topaz, either Denoise or Sharpen, I would probably go with Denoise.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I'm going to show you right now. But first, let's see if we can make this work. Command 0, go to Window. I'm sorry, we'll go to Image, Duplicate, Copy, Window, 2 up vertical, and it didn't do it again. It does not wish to play with me. So we'll do this, we'll drag him out. And we will drag him out. And it didn't work. Okay. I should be able to do both of these guys. Well, let's do this. We'll cheat. There we go. Nobody will ever know the difference. Okay, this is hopefully cropped. Okay. And they should be both 8x10, so good. Okay, you can see there's a whole lot of noise in here, so let's go ahead and do a side-by-side on this one as well. Go to Filter, down to Topaz Labs, Denoise AI. And here's why I might buy Denoise over Sharpen if you can only afford one. Down at the bottom, underneath your auto button, you have remove noise and enhance sharpness. Well, let's bump the sharpness up to like 65. And now it's running a preview. And it's more fun when you got music cranked up in the background to keep you going. And we'll hit process. And it's going to take a while. These are set to 8x10, by the way. So they're faster to work with. "30 seconds to go." Any questions on anything so far while we're waiting? Help me, help me. And for those that don't know who this player is, this was shot a few years ago. His name is Buster Posey of the San Francisco Giants. This is an all-star game from the minor leagues in single A. Okay, before and after, and you can see there's a little bit of goop on his face area underneath the mask. It was struggling to keep up with that, but it definitely took out a whole bunch of noise. That is Topaz AI. So we'll go to the right side image. We'll go to define noise reduction. Give it a chance to analyze. Working, 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 working. There is the adjustment.
Still looks like Topaz is cleaner in the background.
On the helmet in the background, Topaz is much cleaner.
Yeah.
Let's go to Sharpen. So we're on the right side. We'll go to Sharpener Pro. Click OK. And basically Sharpener Pro put some noise back in it.
But look at the face on the guy on the left. It looks like his face is more distorted.
Yeah, definitely.
So you might want to mask out the face, I guess. And
I would probably go through, run it in its own layer, and then mask out the face area. Let's go to Filter, Sharpen AI. And it's still showing the wrong one. Okay, hang on. Close without saving. Click on that one. Okay. Make sure I got the right one. In fact, well, let's just go ahead and run the sharpen filter, but in fact, let's do this. Command J will add a new layer for the sharpen filter. So you can see the before and after easily. And again, it does take a little bit longer, but you have to be patient. And sometimes with this, you click the auto on and off. I run it in auto most of the time. Only because it's smarter than me, so it can pick which one needs to be fixed. And it really doesn't need a whole lot of sharpening, but we'll do it anyway. And I think it will probably over sharpen, which is okay because we can fix that. So if we do the fade filter, that is before, that's after, and it definitely munched his face pretty good there. I'm not sure that you would need to even run that filter at this size, but come on, go to 0. Command 0, thank you. Side by side, looking at the dirt. You can see a lot more of the dirt and munchy stuff in there. Whereas this one's a little bit softer. So in that particular case, I would probably go with Topaz and then mask out the face, which would be easy to do. Just add a mask, go to brush, make it reasonably sized. And I'd probably do that after I did the denoise, but these were shot on an older camera at, I think, 4000 ISO back in the days when 4000 was hard to shoot.
With Define, Michael, can't you increase the noise reduction feature to adjust it more, fine tune it a little more?
With, you're talking about the AI, Topaz?
I'm talking about Nick Define.
Yeah, you could go into Nick Define and let's go back. Take those two out and put it up by itself. Consolidate all the tabs. And we'll go to Nick Define, which is at the top. And right now I have it set to automatic. You can do manual. Measure noise, analyzing. There's not a whole lot. Okay, so you can do the contrast noise, bring it up a little bit, and color noise as well. Bring them both up a little bit, see what happens. Click OK. Before and after. So yeah, you can bring up the noise reduction in there as well. And after I did that, I would go to darken light center. Spotlight him. Bring down my border. And the bad thing, once you put your point in, you can't move it. You have to go back to place center. I hope it clicks. There we go. And then click OK. So that's kind of a comparison between both plugins. Then you can do all kinds of weird stuff to it if you wanted to. Go into the filters. One thing I've noticed when I run narrow filters, unless they've fixed it recently, it was depth blur, I think. Output to new layer. Oh, I gotta wait for it to go up to the cloud and back. One of these, I don't know if it's depth blur or super zoom. When I clicked on it, it would shut my Photoshop down. So you guys aren't the only ones that have problems with it. And probably because I'm doing a Zoom program and trying to go up to the cloud and back, it's going to take a little longer. Even though I've got the fastest internet available up here. Come on.
What program is this now?
This is in Photoshop.
Is this Nick? The Nick
No,
filter?
This is
Oh, this
straight
is the
Photoshop.
Photoshop filter.
Yeah,
Oh,
let me
okay.
flatten the image down real quick. Maybe that'll help. Go to filter, down to neural filters.
Neural filters. Oh, okay, thanks.
And they've got plenty of filters available for that you can play with. So we go depth blur, try it again. Now that I flattened it. And it's still running very slow. You can do weird stuff to it. Style transfers. The depth blur is in the beta, so they're learning how to work with it still. But there's all kinds of other stuff that they're coming out with. And what you can do is, if you got like sketch to portrait, if you want to do that, click on the I'm interested button and tell them we want it bad. So depth blur goes on its own layer, and
Definitely.
it didn't cut it out very well. So I'll just add a mask, brush. So it makes it look more like, add some depth of field to it. Kind of cool, but it's not perfect yet. They're still working on it. And close, don't save. Close, don't save. And in this one, I ran a test on it as well. You can see the noise, and I just ran Topaz on her, Denoise. And one of the bad things about this image is it back focused on the board behind her, which hurt because it was a good image. I liked it. And come on, preview, hurry up. 8x10, you shouldn't be running that hard.
I'm glad my camera's not the only one that does that.
Yeah. Well, I was
It's
shooting.
always the one that they made eye contact with.
Exactly.
Are you
It's not the
sure?
one where they're looking on the other side of the room.
And not maybe the user.
Well, I was shooting with a 85, I believe, because I snuck my camera into the concert, because you're not supposed to have cameras in the concert. So I have my 85 on there, not my,
Tell that to the
200.
guy to the far right of your image there.
yeah, the guy that's with the band shooting
Yeah.
pictures.
Uh-huh.
With his phone.
I got a super cool image of Chris Jansen jumping in the air during the concert. And that Opry sign is crystal clear sharp.
Mm.
So that's not bad. It sharpened her up a little bit as well. But as you can see, that puppy is crystal clear sharp. Arr. That always happens to me. So any questions on what we covered today?
Just FYI, the new Canon R3 that's coming out, it's being so that it, by what you look at with your eye is where it will focus now.
They did that a few years ago. Canon had that available to them a few years ago.
The A2 or something had that long time
Yeah.
ago.
And then
Apparently they've corrected the technology or improved it, but the new R3, which is yet to come out, that's its main feature is that eye detection. Wherever your eye is, it will focus right at that spot.
and what's the camera that's got the eye detection technology for shooting
The
animals?
R5 and the R6 have that for animal eyes.
Sony's have
Sony.
it for people and animals.
Yeah.
I've gone back to
Sony
back
A1.
focus. It's still better.
One has it for birds, people, and animals, 3 different.
The Sony A1.
Yes.
Thanks, Dave. Matt Kloskowski shoots, I believe, with that. Okay, that was interesting. My phone started ringing. It kicked me off of Zoom for a second.
Oh.
Cool. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Suzanne, did you get the Topaz filters? Either one of
I
them?
did. I got the 2. Let me see. Let me just.
Denoise and Sharpener?
Topaz. Yes. And I actually been, funny thing is, I've been painting a lot.
Ah.
I haven't really used them that much, but
So you paint to get rid of the sharpness, but you bought Topaz Sharpener. You're as bad as me.
no, I mean, I hadn't been painting, but it was been so hot and the air pollution's been so bad. I've been stuck in my
Yeah.
house. So I started painting again.
The sharpener works really good on the in studio kind of stuff that you do with the tabletop.
Yeah,
I like
maybe
the way it
that.
comes out. And you can
Especially,
also,
I'm sure the bottles would be great, glasses
Yeah.
and bottles and stuff.
you can also select what you want to sharpen and then
Oh,
bring it up on its own layer, turn off the bottom layer and then sharpen that. So that works as well.
one of the painting instructors that I took a workshop from likes to put a lot of sharpen a lot and put a noise in it. It's supposedly better when you paint. I don't know. I'm still trying to work through whether that's true, but
Is that Michelle Parsley?
no, it's Judy Rainford or
Judy Reinford.
yeah.
Michelle Parsley's got some good stuff going on too. She's
Yeah,
great. I just can't afford her.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Well, I did get in on the beginning, but I haven't utilized it as much. But I'm back on track now.
Okay.
I've been working at it again.
You gotta play and keep doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Coolness. All right.
Great.
Anything else?
No, what's next week? Are you here?